I'm trying to get every LASO achievement in the Master Chief Collection, and with all the Bungie games almost done, it's about time we get to this one. Halo 4 is the continuation of the Master Chief Saga, and the first game in 343's newest Halo trilogy. Or something like that. I don't think anyone knows what's happening anymore. But what we do know is that this game's LASO is one of the worst that Halo has to offer. For those that might not know, LASO, or Legendary All Skulls On, is the pinnacle of Halo difficulty, requiring you to beat the game on its hardest setting with a ton of modifiers that make it much harder than normal. Halo 4's version of this is filled with nearly invincible enemies, along with an entirely new species that make you want to die when fighting them, and they're normally happy to grant the request. So that's why today, I recruited my friend Scott to help me beat this thing for good. Scott's someone who excels with hard challenges and being bald, but has no experience with Halo other than doing unspeakable things to the Halo 3 elephants. However, even though we were underdogs, we actually managed to get off to the best start imaginable. Because on the very first mission, with no practice whatsoever, we got through with no deaths at all. Mainly because it's just a cutscene. No idea why they did that, but we'll take it. All right, Scott, we beat the first mission.
Let's go.
Let's go. And see, this is gonna be so easy. Mission 2, however, happens to be a little more involved than the last one. This one is called Dawn, where the Master Chief has to stop all the Covenant that rudely broke onto his ship. But aside from the Chief not being the only one benefiting from some beauty sleep.
Damn, Cortana got her grippers out.
Them dogs barking.
Dogs barking.
This is also where the LASO skulls really start to kick into high gear. Thanks to the blind skull, Scott and I no longer have access to our heads-up displays, which means that our health, our crosshairs, and our ammo counts have been entirely removed from the equation. This, of course, is already pretty bad, but in Halo 4 specifically, there just so happens to be one more thing that could cause some problems down the line.
Well, okay.
It's a QTE? Oh, this is gonna be so cooked. I was just holding that for a whole minute.
I think only one of us is in control of the QTE.
Oh, really? Oh, it's just me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Putting your faith in me is not exactly a recipe for success. Yeah. Oh, ow. I do not know which direction to move in. I'm just guessing.
No yellow paint.
I think it's this way. There we go. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, no.
Do I have to press a button here, too? Ow. What am I supposed to do?
There you go.
All right, well, back to the beginning. So, Mission 2 was not off to the greatest start, but Halo LASO is all about adapting, being an asshole to your teammates. On three, we run in, go in. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Almost had him.
You're such a dick.
And learning from mistakes. So after climbing the elevator again and making the correct guess on what to press this time, miraculously, we had somehow gotten past the first encounter where all you have to do is press a button to win. But if you can believe it, things only get a lot worse from here. Yep.
Oh, all right, and it begins.
Running in like an idiot probably was not the move there. There are also a bunch of skulls in this LASO that directly affect how hard it is to kill anything, including the Thunderstorm Skull, which increases the ranks of all the enemies, the Mythic Skull, which increases every enemy's health bar, the Tough Luck Skull, which ingrains the 5 Ds of Dodgeball into the enemies, but sadly not the mustache, and the Tilt Skull, which causes enemy resistances to increase, and really lived up to its namesake considering how tilting it was trying to kill anything. Oh, hopefully that did something. Nope, it didn't. I'm glad 4 grenades cannot even kill a grunt in this game. That's very fun. We literally died 12 times before getting out of the first room. 6 for me and 6 for Scott. And in the second room, we died immediately. Oh, Scott, you might be, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you went down and I was trying to follow you.
No, I was still up. Oh, okay, sure.
Oh.
Honestly, good checkpoint. Oh, that checkpoint. Twice. And our struggles weren't helped at all by the Black Eye Skull, which requires you to land a melee attack in order to regenerate your shields. Something that is provably very hard to do when you have no shields in the first place. I'm going in. I got it. Oh.
I died.
Bro. Yeah.
Okay. Shit.
Going in. Productive attempt, that one. But in a lot of situations, melee was also our only solution. You see, thanks to the Famine Skull, we only receive half as much ammo from ammo pickups, and thanks to the Iron Skull, we have to restart from a checkpoint anytime one of us dies, completely stopping us from being able to respawn with loaded guns. But maybe just reading the descriptions of these skulls isn't really conveying just how mind-numbingly ass this abomination of a difficulty is. So for all my STEM people out there, I, regrettably, did the math. Let's take one singular elite. In Halo 4, normally on Legendary, an elite shield can be taken down with one charged plasma pistol shot, and a plasma pistol usually has enough ammo for 4 of said charges. But on LASO, it takes not 1, not 2, but 4 charged plasma pistol shots to take down their shields. And each plasma pistol only has enough ammo for 2. So you would need to land every shot with 2 whole plasma pistols in order to break the shields of one elite on LASO. But surely that can't be the best weapon against the elites, right? There has to be something that works better. Well, strap in, fellas. I tested that too. Alternatively, you could use 16 grenades, 131 pistol shots, 384 assault rifle bullets, 1,184 plastic straws. I don't know, it worked against the turtles, and also 1 kiss from his true love.
All right, cool.
We're on a break. So if that's how much it takes to kill one elite, then hopefully it clears up why it took us 15 minutes to get through this specific hallway.
Oh, there's
3. Yeah, that's kind of the main problem here. But as bad as this looks for us, there is one more relevant skull that I haven't talked about yet. The catch skull causes any enemy carrying grenades to throw them way more often than usual. Except out of all the Halos, in Halo 4, the elites really like throwing their grenades. Enemy far away, grenade. Enemy up close, grenade. Enemy hiding out in an orphanage filled with puppies, ice cream, the elite's own family, and 1 billion galactic dollars if said elite uses their gun. Wait, is that 1 billion Australian galactic dollars? However, what we eventually found out is that whenever an elite throws their grenade, they become stuck in an animation that takes a bit to recover from. And this quirk, with no exaggeration, saved the entire playthrough. Within the few seconds we had between the elite speedrunning their Tommy John surgery, it opened up a window for us to either rush them for an instant kill assassination or let us run past the encounter entirely. So considering there were 3 elites to deal with, we opted for the latter here.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's go.
Move, move, move. Get to the objective. Okay, hold on. Wait, I need to make sure I'm not dead. Press the button.
I think you have to be the one to press it. I can't.
No.
I'm holding E and I'm. So, hey, you want to repeat my success?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds easy.
Good, here we go. Damn, dude. It's like we could have done that the whole time, huh?
Honestly, yeah. Like I said, dude, it's really easy. I don't know why we were having trouble with this before. After that, this level became way easier. I did a sick kickflip off this crate, beat off an elite, pressed a button to trigger the next section. All right, try not to die. Try and get in like cover. Yeah. Oh no. And after all that, finally reached the door that took us to the end of the mission.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So despite the awful start, we managed to beat this level in just over an hour, with 32 deaths for me and 29 for Scott, which we'll be keeping track of from now on. And after a very solid second half and us figuring out how to approach the enemies better, we were feeling good moving forward. I mean, in theory, there really wasn't much for us to worry about if we kept applying what we'd learned against the Covenant. Like, what could they even do? Throw more enemies at us to make it way harder to get past everything? No, yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Oh my god, okay.
How am I getting stuck? Holy
I died
shit.
first. You put me in a terrible spot.
My bad. I'll put you in a worse one. There you go.
Okay, thanks, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, how about you think about it next time you complain,
awesome.
okay? I'm trying my fucking best. Mission 2 is where this game starts to get hard. And considering we went into this with next to no preparation, it was basically like we became the game's personal fluffers. You're better off not Googling that, by the way. And this was pretty much the case straight from the beginning. Going in. What? You start off driving through a giant battlefield, but then end up in this area with a massive cliff structure. And it's here that you end up getting yourself into quite the pickle. Want to wipe out all the smaller enemies in the area? Well, what about this bloodthirsty elite? Oh my god, how the fuck does he not die? Want to try to focus the elite so he can't shove his golden boot up your rectum? Not if this bloodthirsty sniper has anything to say about it. Oh,
Nice.
please don't get snipes.
I'm not.
I was talking to myself. I was right out in the open. Fuck!
As you're saying?
Or maybe you finally get past both of these bloodthirsty fellas, only to reach the top with the sword guy, who's only not bloodthirsty because he has single-handedly spilled so much blood that it is too much for one bloodthirsty man to handle. Oh, Christ. Oh, Christ. I escaped. I almost had his shields down.
Oh, shit!
You have a gun? How'd you lose to someone with a sword? How about you come in here right now, Harbinger?
You come and play for us.
Yeah.
Replace me. No, seriously, like, please replace me.
I think what made this section so bad, though, as well as the interior right after, is that the enemies tended to stick together a lot and were pretty hard to pick off, which is exactly how I know Halo could never be real. I mean, the aliens and extinction rings I can get behind, but everyone pulling their weight on a group project? Yeah, okay, you might as well add a copy of Silksong in there too, buddy. And it really didn't help that every time we could actually clear the area, more enemies would spawn in.
Oh, shit! Spawn right behind me.
And would load back to the last checkpoint hearing the same Cortana dialogue that was ghost written by Captain Obvious.
We can't give the Covenant access to the cartographer. Clear them out.
Like clearing them out is a good idea. I was completely on board after the 9th time, but the 10th time is really starting to sway me, I think. However, Mission 3 also happened to provide us with a few things that Mission 2 was severely lacking, like larger areas, which thankfully made it easier to sneak behind the enemies, a carbine that did real noticeable damage to an elite shields, and the power of invisibility. That didn't work, actually. Apparently, you become visible when you move. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
You totally do. This is the most useless fucking ability of all time. But once we got the hang of all the new tools at our disposal, we started making actual progress. Dead.
Nice.
One-on-one. There we go. Perfect shot.
Kind of shooting.
There we go. Definitely stuck him. There we
Nice.
go. Oh,
Wait, are you the
finally
only one
it's
who
over
can
though.
use
Jeez Louise.
Jesus
Here's
Christ.
that
Do you almost get crushed by a door?
Yeah, I did. I so want to swing on you so badly, but I'm not going to.
Hey, got more honor than me. So now that we were a bit more experienced with handling the larger encounters, we started steamrolling through the second half of the mission. We carefully cleared out the building's interior, ran across a bridge, and flew off towards the final part of Mission 3. But it's at this point that you have to ascend yet another large structure, except this time there are vehicles blocking your way, and the main problem was found halfway up the climb instead of at the top. Alright, well, it was nice knowing you, Scott.
Are you dead?
Probably. This sword elite would proceed to terrorize me for the better part of half an hour. It was like Halo 4 had suddenly turned into a horror game, since I didn't have any resources and he would always seem to find me no matter how far I ran away. I don't think he's following me anymore. I could not tell you though.
Oh no!
So he's still here. But even on the rare occasion I managed to kill him, this is where Halo 4 then turns from a horror game into a horrible game. There are now even more snipers and even more elites that somewhere up to this point got super creative with their explosive usage. Oh my god. What?
Oh.
Are
We're
you?
gonna find
That's
out.
crazy. And this was then followed up with some hunters, which took us 5 minutes to kill each. And it didn't help that they got pretty creative with the explosives too.
All right.
Uh-oh. God, there might be a problem. So over the course of 10 minutes, we had to pick up every conceivable weapon left on the ground. Genuinely, if there was one less gun in the area, I don't think it would have been possible to kill them. But at the very least, they were somewhat easy to survive against. And with the final hunter down, that wrapped up the level in just under 2 hours, with 64 deaths for me and 70 deaths for Scott.
Got him.
Oh,
We're
let's go. Okay, finally. Oh, wait. This game is just too long. It was becoming pretty apparent that Halo 4's LASO was going to be a giant slugfest all the way through. Not even exaggerating, there are hunters in almost every level. But while the last 2 missions had almost succeeded in breaking us, in Mission 4, we were gonna be the ones breaking the game. And we were gonna break it bad.
Okay, then you want to keep on getting higher on these rocks.
Okay, nice. Like meth?
Yes, just like meth.
Okay, cool. But maybe instead of breaking the game, you instead want to break the hearts of all your enemies, specifically the hearts of the enemies on the opposing team of a multiplayer game. And if that's the case, you're going to want the best equipment to do that. So allow me to introduce you to the Red Magic 10S Pro, which has kindly sponsored today's video. The Red Magic 10S Pro is a smartphone built for gaming. But what exactly makes it that way? Well, for one, it has a 6.85-inch 1.5K resolution screen with a 95.3% screen-to-body ratio. And when you combine that with a 144Hz refresh rate and ultra-fast fingertip-sensitive touch controls, you'll easily have the visual edge over the rest of the competition. But a great display isn't the only thing the 10S Pro has going for it. It also has a massive battery that allows for up to 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted gaming, or 18.5 hours to watch this YouTube video over 20 times, which I would highly recommend without any bias. And if you're worried about how hot your phone will get during the marathon, don't worry, the 10S Pro also comes equipped with a liquid metal cooling system, as well as an overall design made specifically for grip comfort to ensure a smooth experience throughout your time with it. So if you're interested in a great way to play your games on the go, as well as your normal day-to-day things, since this is a whole phone too, by the way, then use my link in the description or pinned comment to check out the Red Magic 10S Pro and the rest of their gaming lineup. Thank you again to Red Magic for sponsoring this video, and now back to two idiots breaking Halo. Mission 4 is the first level in the game where you encounter Prometheans, an entirely new species of enemy that also doubles as the most annoying things to fight in the whole series, backed up with numbers and scientific data as shown here. They're aggressive, always appear out of nowhere, and of course, they're very frustrating to kill. So because Scott and I decided that we'd rather jump off a cliff than fight these guys, that's exactly what we did.
Okay.
This is the first level in the game that's completely busted from a quality assurance standpoint. After clearing the first area, you can actually skip the following few encounters by jumping on top of this button and navigating the cliffs until you get to a hallway much farther into the level, which, to be honest, is a lot easier said than done.
Oh shit, I died. Sorry.
That's okay. It happens to the best of us. In fact, it took us a whole 30 minutes for one of us to make all the jumps. But considering the, alternative, we were more than certain that this would be time well spent, especially since the final jump is pretty simple, where all you have to do is make sure not to undershoot the pillars at the bottom and... Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yikes.
The sprint didn't activate.
That was almost the entire skip right there, too. Oh, we got a checkpoint.
We did.
Oh,
I don't know how to get out of here, though. This could be a problem. As I was now hand soloed into the wall, it was up to Scott to complete what me and my hubris could not. And this took a while. But after said while, this happens.
All right, we're good.
Let's go! You did it!
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Which then caused this section to take another while.
Oh my god.
But after that while, Scott managed to make the jump, which then teleported me out of the wall and allowed both of us to continue the mission.
Let's go. Let's go.
After that, though, the rest of the level became pretty hard to mess up, even for us. We ran through another large area while blowing up balls, kind of like a reverse Tom Brady, and Scott did his best reenactment of a bald man getting his banshee blown up, which I thought was pretty good. There's also a pretty cool trick during this part. Basically, if you fly the Banshee high enough in this area, you can fly above an invisible wall where you can then fly below a different invisible wall, which then lets you fly directly to the top of the spire to get to the last part of the level without fighting a thing. Oh, I got my shields back. Ah! Ah! Okay.
Okay, holy shit.
That was a little too close. So with that all done, that about wraps everything up. And the only thing left for us to do in the level was to run up to the big shiny orb in the center and finish the mission. Wait, we're kind of cooking here?
I'm towards the end of the level.
Yeah. Press that shit. Nice. Dude.
I carried for once.
We kind of went crazy on that one.
Yeah. Who the fuck is this guy?
That's the Didax.
Why does he have my hairline?
So with 9 deaths for me and 21 deaths for Scott, Mission 4 turned out to be the easiest one so far, which is something that I can absolutely not say for Mission 5. Oh, is that a Gauss rifle? Is this good? I feel like no. This is so useless.
What?
Speaking of useless, this level is called Infinity, which, fun fact, was named that by the developer to commemorate the amount of time Scott and I died trying to complete this mission. Why we struggled here so much is also pretty easy to explain. This level is filled with Prometheans, and in the last level, we fought approximately 5 Prometheans. So even if you said we weren't prepared at all, it honestly still might be giving us too much credit. What did I pick up? A Promethean Vision. Oh, I don't like this at all. So because of that, we struggled during the early part of the level a lot, with most of said struggle coming from the holdout after we regrouped with our fellow Marines. The same Marines that died immediately and completely negated the entire reason we were here in the first place. Awesome. But to be fair, it probably looks like we were more than happy to join them based on how we were playing. Ooh. What? Jesus, I cannot hit a single melee to save my life.
Not your fault.
The strategy in this section is surprisingly simple. Once you've played this part enough, you'll know exactly where the knight spawns, since it's in the same place every time. So you just have to get into a good position, give some back shots, and then take out the little guys before they can cause any accidents. Basically making our plan A, plan B. But this was easier said than done. Sometimes you'll smack them in the back, only for it to somehow not be an assassination. There were a bunch of potholes and a bunch of weirdly leveled terrains, making you feel like you've been transported to fight on any given California highway. And the main problem we faced is that we had no idea when this whole thing was supposed to be over. I got 2.
Who's after me right now?
That it?
I think so.
Let's go! Wait, yes!
Good shit.
No, one more. We spent 30 minutes dying, learning, and then making a bit of headway, only to realize that we'd have to repeat the process over again as an entirely new wave of enemies decided to appear out of thin air. Except out of the 3 things I mentioned, only one of them seemed to happen perhaps a bit more often than the others. But after a while, all our experience would finally end up paying off. We eventually managed to clear out all the fodder, found the night spawns for every wave, and became the first chiropractic practice that boasted a 100% mortality rate, which I'm gonna be honest is very surprising that it hasn't happened before. And by clearing the area, we were then allowed to enter the caves. Our only objective now was to kill enough Prometheans to trigger our ship to land. And once that was done, we could run over to it without needing to fight anyone else.
Okay, we don't have to kill him.
That's okay.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not okay, not okay, it's not okay. Retreats. Ooh.
Oh my God.
Horror game. All right, I'm staying here. It's really scary. But despite my inability to follow directions, we boarded the Pelican and got to the second part of the mission. That was somehow even worse. I'm dead.
No, I actually did it too.
See, the ghost has this really annoying strategy of moving away from me when I try to run towards him. It's kind of fucked up. You begin part 2 by landing in a vehicle graveyard, which by all accounts looks like it was going to go way over capacity by the time we were halfway done with it. Thankfully though, this was the first time in the entire mission that we actually knew of a trick we could do to make things easier for us. By climbing up this mound of sand and jumping over a nearby ship, you can sneak past one of the game's load zones that would normally spawn in a bunch of enemy vehicles. Unfortunately, it turned out that I had the jumping skills of Michael Jordan if he was a paraplegic. But Scott, on the other hand, managed to make it over and zoom through the first part of the area without fighting a thing. Looks like you're almost at the objective, kinda.
How did that work?
But that was only the first part of the trick. The second part was going to be a bit trickier. On his way to the elevator at the end of the area, Scott was going to have to hijack a wraith. Reason being that at the top of said elevator, there were going to be a bunch of hunters, elites, and other enemies that were going to be next to impossible to kill with just guns alone. So I had to wait until Scott had finally survived and had given me the good news. So all he had to do now was press the button, teleport me to his location, and where the fuck is the wraith?
Oh, we didn't do the strat.
So the footage I just showed you was not Scott's POV, it was Halo completionists. You know, someone who actually knows what they're doing. Our POV was a lot more unfortunate.
Definitely shot ourselves in the foot bone here.
This friendly fire is supposed to be turned off. Actually, hold on, let me double check. No,
Okay.
it's definitely not off.
Stop trying to build up my deaths, you fuck. I see you.
I think by now we're all aware of the amount of ammo it takes to kill the enemies in here. And considering we had to kill them to proceed through the level, our odds of success were looking about as good as our chances of getting another Banjo-Kazooie. So for a little bit, we racked up death after death with no idea how to win. However, there just so happened to be one extra thing in the room that might give us a chance. And that was a conveniently placed warthog that we could use to splatter every living thing in the room.
You want to go for it? Oh no.
That was not even close. That's an aim for the bushes moment. Or maybe we could just use the chain gun. Okay, hold on, we're
Okay,
good.
are you in a warhog? Do
Yeah.
we have a warhog? Okay,
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna.
come to you.
Yeah, you keep him distracted. I'm just gonna do
okay.
this. Just keep him on you, and we'll figure this out slowly. This might work. The bullets are hitting him. You can see it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to
A lot
double
of them are
check.
hitting his shield, but you are hitting someone.
That's fine. I guess I got a new prescription of glasses. I can barely see this fucking guy.
it's not-
Actually, one of the hunters is moving up on you,
Yep,
by the way.
I'm trying to get him.
Oh, they're like right underneath you. Fucking got it. You take so many bullets.
It's okay, this is working.
Oh, I got one, I think.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Nice,
Let's go.
I got so lucky
Oh
on the
my
second one.
god. Finally done with this part. By some miracle, we managed to get past the elevator part, but the level wasn't quite over yet. We still had to clear out the halls with a mech, which honestly was pretty easy. The mech takes a lot more to kill than you think, and we were able to get by the entirety of this section with minimal deaths. Open sesame. That is very bold. You are fighting the guy in a mech. Then when we got outside to activate the turrets, we didn't die at all. You can immediately sprint to each of the consoles to turn them on and then go hide in a corner while the turrets start blowing everything up. Even the base it's supposed to be defending. But if I also had to play any more of this mission, I'll be honest, I'd probably shoot myself too. After that's wrapped up, the Didact has no balls and runs away, even though that's objectively false because he has at least one. And with him gone, we finished the most mind-numbing mission so far with 34 deaths for me and 22 for Scott. But even though that was awful for the most part, this is where we go from one of the worst levels in the game to one of the most broken levels in the game. I hope you like that effect. It took us 10 hours to learn in Premiere. For the majority of Mission 6, you'll be escorting a giant elephant to help you take down a bunch of anti-air cannons. Cannons that, ironically, are themselves in the air. Finally, an enemy that might want to kill itself for once. But when that didn't happen, it was up to me and Scott to do the heavy lifting again. The way you destroy these cannons is with an orbital laser designator that's found in a crash site behind enemy lines. But actually getting there is a lot easier than you think it might be. What makes this mission one of the most busted in the game is thanks to the jetpack, which is an ability that lets you joyride up and around cliffs to satiate your brain even more effectively than the mobile game could. So by using that, I was able to scale the cliff and yoink the laser before the enemies even noticed, where I then blew up the anti-air cannon and proceeded to remember I had no escape plan. Oh, okay. I quite literally just got in it and then immediately died.
Oh, no.
Okay, hold on. This might be interesting. I'm dead.
No, I wasn't gonna take it from you.
This is gonna be really hard to get out of. Oh, no.
I'm fine. I am perfectly fine with this.
Yeah, that's good.
Here,
I'm
I
glad.
thought I was gonna be boosted.
Happy for you, buddy. All right. All right. I'm feeling good about this one. I'm feeling really bad about this one. Bitch. See ya. Thanks for the shields back. Oh.
Ain't no way.
They're shooting me in the ass. There we go. That should be better. Ugh, I'm okay. Like I said, everything's fine.
Nice,
First
dude.
try, huge, big
First
win.
try.
It feels good to be a winner and a not deader, for sure. Sir?
Okay, is it gonna make you do it again? Oh! I didn't think it would.
The gray, hold on. It's gray with an E, right?
I really thought that was a checkpoint, I'm not gonna lie. Otherwise I would have done it.
So you're just like a bitch for fun, huh? Once I made it back again, though, the mission started to go a lot more smoothly.
All right.
All right, I believe in you.
Let me just
I
do
guess
this
you'll be
strat.
the one doing this.
Yup. Oh, all right. This is not your day.
For the most part. Let's move on now. And that's because this level can be completely smashed open from this point forward. By using the ghost, you can park it next to the plasma barrier in the next area, and by getting out of it, you can pass through the barrier entirely. And then, since there are now no enemies anymore, because holy fuck, he just phased through a wall, I know I'm not paid enough to fight someone that can do that, you can then run over to the opposite side, jetpack up another cliff, and become the back-to-back champion of your local laser tag tournament. Now, normally after this, you'd have to spend a very long time fending off wave after wave of enemy vehicles, up until you're given the go-ahead to board and destroy the main enemy ship. However, from the cliff we just destroyed the AA cannon from, you can actually jump onto the ship right as it spawns, causing space Chernobyl with a rocket launcher and bypassing quite literally what would be an hour of gameplay in 10 seconds. Thank you. Huge, dude. We're killing it right now. But even that doesn't fully describe how exploitable this level is. Right after another ride in the elephant, you arrive in an area where you're forced to proceed on foot. But rather than doing that, you can instead become the most generic person on Tinder by honing your hiking and climbing skills. The reason for this is that once you get to a specific spot, one of the rocks no longer has collision detection. And it just so happens that you can use your jetpack to boost over to the end of the area you're supposed to be fighting through. But despite this being amazing, fantastic, phenomenal, this might also be the only place in the entirety of LASO where co-op turns into a detriment.
Oh. Okay, that's a bad teleport.
No, that's actually really bad.
That's a really bad teleport.
Shoot, do I have to let you know? Teleporting just to fall to your death because the game thinks you're too far behind may sound funny, because let's be honest, it kinda is. But thanks to that specific quirk, an otherwise trivial jump took us 15 minutes to get past. And it was a bad 15 minutes. But realistically, that was nothing. Especially when you consider that if we landed this, it would fast track us to the easiest part of the level, which could probably be completed by current state of aliveness Vincent van Gogh.
It would save all life in the galaxy.
Oh, I hate that you said that. Why is her voice just coming through my left earphone? She is. I took out my left headphone and I couldn't hear it. That's so funny. So it was easily worth the time. And once that jump is complete, you run through some hallways, take a detour into a teleporter, and use the jetpack to get above another barrier. That's all there is to it. It is seriously almost impossible to mess up. A big ass hallway. At least we can't die here.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. That was pretty obvious when you said that.
No, me? A master of foreshadowing? No. Once you get to the end, the chief can finally use his 5-kill streak and calls down a predator missile on the Prometheans to end the mission. And that is why this is called the most busted mission in the game. Not because of all the previous stuff or whatever, but because we somehow got access to that missile when we literally killed 0 people each.
Nice.
Damn, 40 minutes flat too. Holy shit. This is like an episode of TV.
Oh wow, look at that. I didn't even notice that. Wow.
I know. We were very punctual, I feel like. So yeah, 0 kills. There's no possible way it could get easier than this. Well, strap in, bucko. I'm gonna show you how to skip an entire mission. Woo! It's time to ignore every single objective in this mission and just beat it. The following level is called Shutdown, where you have to disable a spire, then another spire, in order to enter a 3rd spire. That takes you up to where the Didact is doing some safe for work docking. But if you just completely ignore the first 2 spires and fly directly to the 3rd, you only have to do that one. No idea why he left the door open, by the way. Maybe he's Swedish or something. So right after starting, we flew over to the last spire and we're already 3/4 of the way through the level. But regardless, the problem remains that we still had to do the last quarter.
Do we need the Pelican after this?
No, this is quite literally the last area.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck?
No!
The most difficult thing you have to do in this level is the dreaded standard encounter, with jackals, elites, and a duo of hunters all mishmashed together. So even though we didn't have to do much to win, we were still us.
Teabagging me.
Hey, look up.
Oh, man.
And therefore, we died a few times as is tradition. But despite that, we had also gotten used to how LASO works now. Headshot grunts, backsmack elites, honestly plead with any deity to put the hunter next to a 1,000-foot drop. But we were getting through this even faster than normal. And it didn't take us long to clear this place out like we'd done countless times before. Grenade. Grenade.
Nice.
Hey, there we go. So even though we did die a few times during this final part, we quickly reached the end of the level, and things genuinely went as well as they possibly could have. Oh shit, it's only been like 17 minutes. We need more content.
Fuck, okay.
Oh,
Stop
good checkpoint.
beating me off, dude. I was pressing it too.
Don't tell me what to do, okay? Shut up. I'm the boss here. Oh, you want to go? You think you own the Halo right now? Huh? I will beat you off way harder than you can beat me off. Shit. Fuck.
Oh, okay, okay, we gotta be careful now.
Okay. Oh, yeah, be careful, lad. Fuck you.
I was trying to hit you while you were doing the animation so that it wouldn't actually kill you. Okay. All right. Calm down.
This is just the Cold War right now.
Yeah,
Scott, the Didact's dying.
Oh, no. All right, you done?
Yeah, like one more. Okay, now I'm done. God, just can't let anything go, huh?
No, I can't.
I would like to reiterate that this is things going as well as they possibly could have. So with a sweet 14 deaths for Scott and God fucking damn it, we move on to mission 8, where the chief follows the Didact to a research base that contains a super weapon known as the Composer. And for any visual learners out there, this is what the Composer does to people. What happens if I go...
The Covenant.
Oh, nice. That's what happens.
Yeah, I guess so. This mission sucks because you actually have to play it, but only after the hangar room, because it's in here that we have another trick. What you can do is jump over to the middle using a railing and spawn in some elites, then camp at the top of a staircase with the intensity of a blue-collar father trying to get a good game in before he has to put his kid to bed. And that's not even that much of an exaggeration either, because if you can do this successfully, one of the elites just so happens to have a concussion rifle. And I just so happen to be forklift certified. Fuck it. Oh, no, it works. Thanks to what many call Halo physics, shooting at the right spot while standing in a specific place on the fork allows you to launch yourself over a door that blocks the way to the next area. And if you don't quite understand how that works, don't worry, this installation has a bunch of well-educated scientists that would love to... Had a bunch of scientists. You know,
Like a Reaper?
Do think we did make a mistake when coming to this place.
You think so?
Yeah, because we definitely could have brought some lotion because their skin looks really ashy. But apparently, the game's retribution for this wasn't too far behind us, since after that, we came across some hunters and it went just about as well as you might think. Oh! Actually, I don't even know how that hit me. That was so far away. Ow. All right. Good attempts.
Probably gonna kill me if I do that.
Whoa, that's not close to me.
And his name is Snam Cena.
Okay. Oh, something's wrong here. What is going on? With the middle of our skulls now significantly lower on the Z-axis thanks to our inability to outsmart a being with no brain. All right, you want to give it a whirl?
Sure, dude. Oh, okay.
The hunter remains the hunter because it beats them to death, true. We managed to take down the hunters after many attempts of circling them with a shotgun. And with that out of the way, we reach a room in which we're tasked with preventing the Composer from falling into the Didact's hands.
If we can't move the Composer, we have to make sure the Didact can't either.
I thought the Composer is supposed to be the one moving us with his music.
Literally
Is that,
just about to
is
make
that
the
right,
same
Scott?
joke.
Music man?
Yes.
In order to get to where the Composer is located, however, we have to fight through a labyrinth of hallways filled with a ton of enemies. Now here, you can attempt to use your concussion rifle again to clip out of the map and skip a bunch of rooms, but we couldn't get it to work most of the time despite our best efforts. Might be here, to be honest. Okay,
Fuck, dude.
okay, all good. Make this work. Damn it. Uh-oh.
Nope, dude.
Didn't make it work. Oh, I can do this though.
Do you want me to clear out the room a little bit?
No, I don't need it.
Okay.
I need it.
Okay. Immediate regret.
And even on the occasions we did, it seemed like in co-op, the person outside the map doesn't have any way back in, and the person inside the map is just generally not in for a good time.
All right, single player it is.
That's okay. I'll keep Overwatch on you. I'll let you know where they are. Actually, I'll be your eyes in the sky. I'm like a UAV. Let me give you the lowdown on this elite. There's an elite. He's still in the big room. Oh, you got him? You might get him? Nah, you might die.
Yep, damn it.
So how was your UAV experience? Could you rate me 5 stars on Yelp if that's okay? So while trying to get this whole thing to work, Scott spent a lot of time stuck with all the enemies. Something that didn't exactly bode well for him based on how things had gone for us previously. But there is a reason he's called the Bald Rorschach. For what the enemies didn't know was that he wasn't trapped in there with them. They were trapped in there with him. Many times, in fact, thanks to him dying so much. But on one magical attempt, he was on a bit of a heater.
Give me my shield back, fucker.
Be nice to him, okay? Maybe that's why he's so angry.
He's dead. I don't need to be nice to a dead person.
Jesus. You psychopath.
That's an elite. That's an elite.
Okay, just stay alive.
That's...
Oh.
Oh, whoa. Oh, shit.
Oh, good
Sticky.
checkpoint too. Okay, actually, this is so lit.
Way easier than I thought it would be.
There we go. And that'll work.
To get it to the artifact.
Scott, what are you? Scott, be nice to the elite. Scott's heroics had now taken us to the part of the mission where things were pretty much back to normal. We successfully battled through a crowded hallway, spent some time using the mechs where we didn't die at all, but the fight still took us 10 minutes to do, and eventually made it to the room right before the end of the level. It's only been an hour. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this would probably take us 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
It's only because one of your chatters said to do so. Otherwise, I
That's
wouldn't
fair. I understand that. Oh. Oh, Scott.
Okay, yeah. I wish I didn't listen to your chat. I wish I did listen
That's
to your
why
chat.
I never do. Never mind. Apparently we had to do the 10-minute mech thing twice. But once we got there again, we didn't kill each other and now only had one more mission to go. All right, I died 29 times and you died 20 times.
Let's go. Let's go. That's my stream.
That's my streamer. You know, my community knows. Getting your hopes up is just not what we do around here. With 29 deaths for me and 20 for Scott, it meant that he was now the grand champion of Halo 4. And I, in his own words, was a source of completely verbatim, by the way, that's my teammate. Looking back on the playthrough as a whole, though, it seemed like we had really figured out Halo 4's combat. We had gone from getting stomped by one single group of enemies to completing the last mission with honestly very little trouble, and beaten a bunch of the hardest sections in the game with the mental debuff of knowing that instead of doing this, we could be playing a better video game. But we still had one more level to do. So we went into the last mission knowing that even if we died a few times, we should be able to do it. Hopefully unlocking our achievement in the next hour or so if things went as well as they had been, only for us to suddenly realize about midway through the level this was going to be one of the hardest missions in the game. The final mission in Halo 4 is called Midnight, where the Master Chief has to infiltrate the Didact ship and put a stop to him for good. And crowning this the worst mission is really saying something, considering you can literally skip the whole first quarter of it. All right, Scott, remember, you're the expert here. You need to guide me.
This is gonna be hard to walk you through. Well, actually, it might not be that
I
hard.
mean, you don't walk in this section, you fly, doofus. Of course it's gonna be hard to walk through it. At the very start of the level, if you angle your ship a certain way, you can bounce out of the on-rails section, trigger a few checkpoints, and fly directly to the entrance of the ship's interior. So why the Master Chief decided not to do that and battle through 50 miles of high-end defense systems canonically, I'll never know. But doing this allows you to arrive at the end of the section incredibly quickly, and after destroying a few of the Big Boss children, launches you right into the second part of the mission. And this is where things would begin to take a little bit of a turn for the worst.
God damn it.
Oh, they're fucking everywhere.
Oh, shit.
I'm okay.
Oh,
No! You start this part off with terrible weapons, and apparently the Prometheans really be fucking considering how many of them kept repopulating the rooms that we were in. So after a bit of doing things the old-fashioned way, our strategy had to shift. And so I would like to present our new master plan: run past everything no matter what. Spending a bunch of time fighting only to die was incredibly demotivating, but with running it down the middle, we could keep that going like we were Prime Tyler 1. I mean, we already had the toxicity down, at least to each other, so it was kind of the perfect match for us. That being said though, it didn't necessarily mean we were good at it. We died a ton trying to do this, and each death went by quickly for sure, but this level is long, and there are so many different places you have to do this in. Oh, wait, what the fuck? That's on the other side? No! I thought the completely opposite portal was opening. Overall, I think we had died more times running through these hallways than in the entirety of a few of our previous missions. But like a wise man once said, shit worked. And we rode that wave all the way to the final area. But regardless of our progress so far, I would once again like to state this is probably the hardest mission in the entire game. And with that in mind, this is where the game went from a little bit of a turn for the worst to a bit of a turn for the worst.
Yeah, I was doing it.
Ah! Dude, what are these grenades? This final part, with no doubt in my mind, was the most difficult thing we had to do in this entire playthrough. The goal of this under 5-minute section was to reach the 2 pedestals that Cortana could use to disrupt the Didact's orb. A very straightforward objective, but actually doing that put us through some of the most insane feats the game had ever asked of us. I believe. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I just walked out for 1 second. For one, we barely had any ammo, and there was pretty much nothing useful in that department within the area either. Then, on the way up to the pedestals, we had to avoid a torrential downpour of grenades. For our only 2 checkpoints for the majority of this part was this one right at the start, and this one 5 seconds from the start. Okay, sure. I mean, that saves us 5 seconds for his head. We're gonna need it. That could add up to like 2 hours at some point. But the worst part was, without question, the knights at the top of each structure. Normally, only one of us was able to reach the top without getting trapped, and it would be up to that single person to kill not 1, not 5, not 10, well, maybe 10, I didn't actually keep count, but a lot of knights that you have to backsmack in order for the pedestal to even appear. Knights that could now do this.
oh yeah, that's something you gotta be careful of.
I thought he was, And with all that together, this was the thing that basically broke us for a bit. There was no way to run by, we could only take down a few by shooting if we were lucky, and we had to get 10 knights created for the sole purpose of killing you to not do that for a bit. Not a back shot. I hate it here. That was not a back shot. It was definitely outside, but I needed to say something to feel better. However, that didn't stop us from trying to figure it out. Like I stated before, LASO is all about adapting, being a dick to your teammate, and learning from your mistakes. 91 combined deaths later, and I was starting to get the hang of the knights, slowly perfecting how far away I had to be to get into catch skull range, figuring out how to get them to throw grenades at the same time, and where exactly I had to hit them for it to count as an assassination, because I swear it changes every time. But everything I had learned about how to play Halo 4 LASO was finally coming to fruition, and after countless attempts with a bunch of bad ones, this was the attempt I would finally have a good night. Okay, that's all the nights. Come on. Okay, is the pedestal gonna come? Oh my goodness, Lord.
More finger action.
I know. I'm having trouble getting it to come. Story of my life. Yes, there it is. Activating. Well, it's time to put the die in didact. Am I right? With that over, though, we had arrived at last. The final battle with the enemy that had overpowered the Covenant and caused all the suffering we've had to endure so far. But this time, we were different. We were prepared. We understood what we had to do to take him down. And unlike the beginning, where we had no idea what we were doing, we knew how to press a button. All right, I mean, I planted a grenade. That's good, I think.
No, we're dead. We're dead.
No, we're fine.
Oh, we are?
Well, that was, that's just as anticlimactic as I remember. And so, after definitely putting the die in didact and reaching the end once again, Scott and I were able to roll credits and finally completed Halo 4 LASO. Oh, there it is. Huge! I'm on PC though, so it doesn't do this pop, but it's there. It came. Ooh, I also got complete 3 Halo 4 playlists. That mission accounted for over a quarter of my deaths.
Same here, actually.
With that, we are now at 5 out of the 6 LASOs done in MCC. I wonder which one could possibly be next. Well, you won't have to wait long since it's coming sooner than you think. So if you want to see the conclusion to this series of video game CBT, then make sure to subscribe and check out this video in the meantime that I think you'll also enjoy. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to Scott for helping me on this, even though he is bald. And with all that said, I'll see you all in the next one.